It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akashat Zivri. How are you doing today?
Did you see the rains on Saturday? Did it rain?
Yeah, very light, yeah.
Very heavy rains.
It was heavy.
Oh, well,
Very, very heavy rain. So I guess Agbaluma will now be sweet. Those of us who
This is the second rain in the month.
Yeah. Oh, this is the first in
Okay.
my
area. It's the second in my
So I went to buy Agbaluma and it was actually sweet. And I'm hoping that, that happens. But I'm worried. Is it that the grid or there's complete shutdown of our power sector? Have you noticed the complete no lights, darkness, and all of that?
Yes, now only at night you get light.
You get at night? We got this morning. Okay. But it was terrible. From Friday till I was like, the thing don't break down. There should be an announcement telling us, the Minister for Power, this Minister for Power, let me just say it here, is the most inactive one I've seen. Yes, he doesn't even talk. The system will break down. Yeah, not doing anything.
They do press release.
He will not even talk.
we get information, though, from the day to something in power. We get a bit of information.
From the national one, Abi.
Yeah, they send it. I think they send it to the residents. The resident
we haven't seen.
stations.
Okay.
So. Nobody sent anything on this one. The freezer, I opened it, threw out all the things that we had again on Saturday. So I was really upset. Very, very upset.
We didn't have for about 7 hours.
Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to get
our
a new
own light
freezer.
is really for our lights to be this bad. It means that other areas are.
They say there's a freezer now that is solar powered that comes with an inverter. I'm looking to invest in that to save my life.
I'm grateful to God for life. Working, work. All I see is work. And I don't know. My mom called me this morning and I was praying that what's going on. I said, it's just work. There's nothing else. It's just the only thing in my radar now is work. But I'm not complaining. We're grateful to have opportunity.
Work is good, though.
Thank God for work.
As in, but like, you don't want that.
Hi, Dave.
You know what we do.
I love the blue and yellow.
Thank you. Very flowery, right? Yeah. Just when I saw it, I was like, no, I want
Love
a happy Monday today. So let's go with the bright colors. I'm good. I started a side hustle. I told you guys, right? So I've been selling, I'm starting with selling rugs. I'm selling these really beautiful, high quality rugs that you can use to just elevate your spaces. Beautiful. You check me out at Miriam's side hustle. As in, I'm not even doing any...
You're not coding the process.
I'm not coding anything. This is what it is. I always get lots of compliments. People say, oh, you have an eye for these things. You know how to pick the pieces. So I would like to share it with the rest of the world. Come and look at my pieces. You would love them. They would help, with your spaces.
Is it Miriam _ side hustle?
Yes.
That's it.
Hey, you tell us now. You don't just say Miriam side hustle.
Yeah, just Miriam's side hustle. It's fine. Miriam's _ side hustle.
So
It's Miriam's. Put the S in there
Yes.
again. Okay, Miriam's
side hustle. It's proper English, I'm sorry.
that's
Yeah, but I'm saying the words for handles is the names. You know, the Miriam.
Okay.
So today is my girlfriend's birthday. We'll meet Oluborode. She's a big age today. Congratulations. Happy birthday, girl.
Happy
I'm not called
birthday,
that
Wunmi.
message, but I've always called her after the show. Well, happy birthday to my girlfriend. We'll meet Mrs. Oluborode. We'll meet Awe. She's my girlfriend. She's like, she's bridesmaid. We've known each other for a
how
long
sweet.
time. She's been there for me. She's been consistent. She's been always there. When you want somebody to bring you back to the basics, is a woman you call. She just reminds you of everything, what's important.
What's inspiring.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Wumi.
Happy birthday, girlfriend. I always find it weird when girls call each other girlfriends.
It's from
What do you think?
friendship of years.
I know, but I've always found like, oh.
All right, it's Monday. February is around the corner.
Imagine that.
I'm nervous.
January is
I just wish somebody can fast forward to March.
Yeah.
Like,
Elections.
I'm so afraid of February. Like,
I'm not actually as tense as I thought I would be.
I'm tensed already.
I sort of detached from the whole thing.
I really
As
want
long
to.
as you live in Nigeria,
Yeah.
you
I
can
don't
be
know.
attachment.
It affects people's
eventually.
business decisions right now as well.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
true.
It's a really tense moment. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, we continue with we're going to start with our review of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Naira swap row deepens. 2 kids among 9 killed as container falls on commercial bus in Lagos. APC accuses PDP of planning campaign of calumny against its candidate. Petrol now 550 Naira in cities. Buhari unmoved by PDP's abuses, says Tinubu. Ajaero set to replace Waba as NLC president. Pension funds rise to 15 trillion Naira. 11 burned to death in Ondo Road accident. And 3 policemen killed at checkpoint. All right, this really sad story of the accident that happened and caused a lot of negotiation, put the negotiations into straight mourning. On Sunday, it happened in Uju-Elegba. There was a containerized truck trying to ascend the bridge. He was on the left lane and he fell totally on a small bus. The 20-foot container fell right on the Kurukwe bus that we have in Lagos. And all 9 passengers died. I think there was two. Sorry, there was only one girl, one woman that was survived. But there was 4 men, 3 women, and 2 children were involved in this accident. The woman that was rescued alive, according to the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Femi Okeosonitoli, was saying that they had gotten the forklift to lift up the container and then be able to pull out the adult woman using I think it was Charlie, one of their major equipment to pull it out. And they had an ambulance on ground who was able to get the woman resuscitated quickly and be able to move to the hospital. But it's so sad that we lost 9 lives. And the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has said that they should totally bar these containerized trucks from going into that Ojuelegba bridge. I thought they were supposed to have like a barrier.
They stopped it. So
they stopped them from going on the right lane because they always tipped over, remember, to the floor. But now they made them move to the left lane. But on the left lane, they flipped over to the right lane on the buses. So he's saying that they should totally bar them from going on that Ojuelegba bridge. So there should probably be a barrier to stop them from ascending in the first place.
That's my route back and forth. So, when I heard it, the first thing was to do like a mental calculation of where everybody was supposed to be at that time. And I see them constantly on that road. Every time we're passing them, we're praying. And I just hope finally that the government will do something really tangible about protecting our citizens.
Our hearts go out to the families of those who've lost their lives. May their soul rest in peace, especially those 2 children. May God really help the families to bear this loss. So sorry about this.
Let me take
another story.
Headline. The Nation reports that a row broke out yesterday over the scarcity of the new Naira notes and the extension. So the federal government yesterday, with the approval of the president, the CBN announced an extension of 10 days for us to deposit and swap our notes for the new Naira notes. But the House of Reps have rejected the deadline, saying that it was still too short.
Yeah.
Also, experts like, the former chairman of the former Lagos Chamber of Commerce DG, Dr. Muda Yusuf, also says this is not sufficient, that this 10 days extension, the speed and everything would affect businesses and endanger the economy, just as, the ladies of your view were emphasizing just on Friday. But the scarcity continues around the country, people fighting at ATMs, looking funny for those of us watching from home. This is very avoidable. But the government insists, and the APC is commending the government for doing this. They insist that it's the best. They're commending the CBN and the federal government for the extension, that it is good at this time. While the CBN governor says this deadline shift is going to be the final one. But I heard from the grapevine that there'll be a 7 days grace, which makes it 17 days. I'm trying to confirm, which I couldn't, that, that will to enable a more pop-off.
Because of this lack of money, I'm owing ShopRite in Adinuro Gusa toll money.
Oh.
I had money now, new notes. They did not even have any money to give me. Madam, we don't have change to give you. I said, okay, let me go with my money. When I come back, I'll pay you back. This has happened to me twice. Wow. So you have the new notes, you give them, but they can't give you change in they don't have cash.
So we'll talk about that a bit later because
use 100 and 200 Naira notes, which are not, 100 Naira notes, because those ones are not changing.
Yeah.
At least we'll have surplus. Yes, we should have surplus of that to make up for the challenge. I want to take the story of the fuel crisis, another issue that is really challenging a lot of Nigerians, which is the fact that we don't have enough fuel. So the Nation covered the story going to Lagos, Ondo, Edo, Kwara, Abia, Anambra, Benue states, and they said most independent marketers are boldly displaying the unofficial prices at their pump. I mean, they have instead of 167 per liter, they will put 167 per liter there, but they are selling far above. Some are selling for as high as 240 to 550 across different cities. They also mentioned that within Lagos, there is many major oil marketers within Lagos are selling for 185, but majority are closed down. There are most of the filling stations on the Ikorodu Road, President Muhammadu Road, Obafemi Awolowo Road, Yaba, Ikoyi were under lock and key on Sunday. That was yesterday, and they were not dispensing at all. Then they said when you go to some other filling stations, they would ask you to pay. The attendants are now taking advantage of the scarcity to earn money by exploiting people, asking them to pay either a flat fee or 10% of the total amount of money. They now did a breakdown extensively of different filling stations and the different prices. Each of them were selling their fuel. I know for a fact that we couldn't even buy, as a Friday, my driver couldn't buy fuel. He was told that he could only buy 6,000 Naira into the vehicle. They cannot fill the tank, and yet he still had to tip the attendant. So a lot of manpower being wasted. We're really waiting for the 14-man steering committee the president has put in place to resolve this issue to see how soon it will be done.
Yeah. I have another sad story, unfortunately. This issue in Nigeria. So 3 policemen were killed and were injured on Saturday night when gunmen attacked the border checkpoint on the Enugu-Abakaliki expressway. They said the hoodlums just came in and then opened fire at the checkpoint. They had attacked an army checkpoint earlier on the same road where they killed 2 soldiers. An eyewitness talked about how the gunmen shot for hours on end. He said they came in around, that he was in that area about 6:07 p.m. and that he was going and got to the Ebonyi Enugu bound at Nkalago, then passengers en route Enugu. So while they were trying to cross the boundary, that's when these gunmen came in. They were shooting sporadically. These policemen that were attached to the Operation Safer Higher Way, they died. Police have confirmed the incident, and hopefully investigations will go on and they'll be able to find these hoodlums. It's sad because I remember I served in Ebonyi. That road was just my route every weekend, me and my friend, when we were going to Port Harcourt, and it's just harder now for people to go from one place to the other and explore, the area that they stay.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. We're going to move on to the Punch. New Naira, anger spreads over scarcity. Reps oppose CBN extension. UN projects 3% growth for Nigeria. 2 Nigerians arrested for $500,000 fraud in Canada. Japa 2,000 doctors dumped Nigeria in 2022, says NARD. Government appointments lopsided, lack merit, says Obasanjo. Ikwe in court Tuesday after 223rd day detention, and court delivers judgment seeking 2023 polls cancellation. Okay.
Let me take the human interest.
Please.
So the Canadian police had announced that 2 Nigerians were arrested, one Bemisola Akiriade and Adebowale Adiatu. Both of them sold valid flight tickets to the tune of $500,000, about 250 airline tickets to unsuspecting Africans, because most of the tickets were heading this way, and they use the proceeds of the monies for personal gain, obviously via a website they created, that wasn't valid. So the charges are for the charge for fraud, conspiracy to commit an indictable offense, possession of property obtained by crime, obtained by false pretenses, and unlawful use of a computer. So these two Nigerians are one of those people who will block road eventually for us because of their conduct in this Canada that everybody did Jackmago.
All right, let me take the United Nations projection. So, the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, in partnership with UN Trade, or the Office of the Trade and Development, said that high inflation and power supply issues are impacting the growth of Nigeria. We all know that. However, they said that the economy will benefit from a robust commodities trade and dynamic consumer goods and services, bringing the growth to about 3% in 2023. So that's a good thing. So they're projecting that the aggregate economic growth will weaken to 3.8% in 2023 from 4.1%. But actually, because of our extensive commodities trade and dynamic consumer goods and service market, our GDP should grow 3%, which is a good thing. All right.
And if you all remember, our former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, has been, incarcerated in the United Kingdom, where he'd been accused of human trafficking. They say he will be showing up before the High Court judge, Mr. Justice Johnson, scheduled January 31st. He's been, incarcerated all this time. His daughter, who we remember is the one that had the kidney disease, and she appeared before the court as well, November 7th, and she was there to defend the accusation against her, where she pleaded not guilty, and would hear from her father on the 31st of January. Just to give us an update on the story so far with Ike Ekweremadu.
So I want to take the story about the Japa. About 2,000 doctors have left Nigeria, according to a survey carried out by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. The information was released by the president of the NARD, Dr. Oji Innocent, who mentioned it while fielding questions from journalists at the end of the just concluded the association's conference in Uyo, and he said that this is extremely important that we deal with it before Nigerians wake up one day and realize that there are no doctors to treat patients within the country. He was seeking the National Executive Council to ensure that there is increase in funding for healthcare within the country. He calls for 15% of the annual budget to be allocated in line with the 2001 Abuja Declaration for Healthcare Financing in Africa. He also asked that this would help to improve healthcare delivery to the Nigerian citizens. There are other recommendations within the released information, but I think it should be of concern to us that within 2022, 2,000 doctors relocated out of Nigeria to search for greener pastures. While we don't know if those numbers are being, we definitely cannot have the same competence of level of experience coming in to fill their space. So it's cause for worry.
All right, moving on quickly to daily sum. 1.9 trillion naira back in banks as CBN extends old notes deadline. APC accuses PDP of plots to circulate fake news about Tinubu. Presidency, National Assembly on collision course over constitutional review. Black Sunday, 19 killed at container crashes. It was actually 9 people killed. 11 burned to death in Ore, Benin Expressway. Gunmen killed 3 policemen and 2 soldiers in Ebonyi. I neither saw nor touched $1 billion security fund, ex-army chief Buratai said. Fear, anxiety as EFCC begins probes of RCC's finances. Abia PDP zones vacant Guba seat to Isiala Ngwa North local government. I have no hands in Nasarawa killing, says Nortom. And violence May, March 2023 elections, Supreme Court Council for Sharia warns. Okay, so let's just take the backup story for the CBN. So aside from the fact that an extension was made to February 10th, the CBN was saying that they've achieved the 75% success because 1.9 trillion has come back into the banking system. They still have about 500 billion out there. So according to them, they had about 2.7 billion that was out and they needed back into the banking system. So, and they're saying that they've also engaged the EFCC and the ICPC to assist them by going around to all the DMB branches to ensure that the implementation of the guidelines are carried out accordingly. So, Emefiele is saying else.
The EFCC boss visited the Ministry of Education headquarters to see the Minister of Education, who is supposedly to hand over the investigation panel's probe from universities' finances, starting from the federal universities all the way down to colleges of education. According to the Sun's report, he's supposed to go and get it personally, and it was supposed to be done in December, but because the minister had traveled out to Germany, and now that he's back, the visitation panel's report will be handed over to the EFCC boss, from where investigations into the finances of universities will start. Then there's what's it called, these people that usually report without anonymous reporters allegation that the probe is to focus on universities in the south. That, you know, they want to probe universities in the south first. Well, that's reported in the story as well. So I'm just wondering that, you know, yes, this probe is legit. If there's nothing more to it, yes, it should ordinarily be doing these probes. But they said it was the president's directive. I'm just hoping it's not targeting ASU for their wahala over the years.
Let me take the story of the Federal Road Safety Corps Unit Commander in Ore. Mr. Sikiru Alonge was reporting an accident that took place along the Soka Bridge in Ore, Ondo State. The accident, according to them, was caused by a one-way trailer that had this head-on collision with a Marco Polo bus that was coming from Benin Road, and everybody in the bus, it caught fire, and everybody in that bus died. So, of course, it caused major traffic. As at the time they were filing the report, they couldn't even identify the people because it was really like a major, a ghastly incident. They said the fire was put out by efforts from people, agencies moving along to clear the traffic issues, but it's just such a sad story that we're having to go through this.
Yeah, so we have the DG for NEMA, that's the National Emergency Management Agency, saying and warning Nigerians that we should brace up for severe flooding this year. And this is based on the 2023 seasonal climate prediction released last week by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, that there will be normal to above normal rainfall in some states of the Federation. And so he's speaking to also he says he's asking state government to support their emergency agencies. That's the SEMA, that's the State Emergency Management Agencies. They have to be operationally ready, and also establish local emergency committees for grassroots participation in disaster management. And there's a point he said that the state government need to do much more than just talk. They need to back their words with action. And I think that we're getting enough time and warning for state governments to prepare, because the national does its own. They're training people, and they've asked those who have been trained to go back to their various states and communities and train their personnel as well. And the state government, we need to do better. We cannot be calling on federal government when this happens. We've been provided the funds, we've been provided timelines. We should do what's necessary to protect our people.
All right, the points very quickly. Fuel crisis, NNPC colluding with private depot owners to frustrate Nigerians, says marketers. Saboteurs in INEC working with fifth colonists against credible elections, stakeholders allege. Police arraigned Governor Umahi's special advisor for allegedly stealing cassava. 900 billion naira still outside banking system, says CBN. And how Adeleke's sack will affect general elections in Osun. Okay.
Governor Umahi of Ebonyi State, former Chief Press Secretary and presently a Special Assistant on Vegetation, is Special Assistant on Vegetable Market Development and Maintenance, has been arraigned for stealing cassava tubers valued at 600,000 naira, property of one of the residents of Ebonyi State, one Nnamdi Aniedu. And he pleaded not guilty and also said that this was aimed at tarnishing his image. Because of the his office, which is the Special Assistant on Vegetable Market Development and Maintenance, I'm sort of worried, that it could be in line of his duty, or it could be an abuse of his power that, this happened. But I'd like to see the end of this.
May I have an interesting story? They said residents of Ipaja area in Lagos State have been thrown into panic and confusion because they allegedly discovered ghosts in their community that had this amala joint, a woman and her 3 children, and people said they've been eating amala there. Woke up one day and the whole place is deserted. What happened? One customer came and recognized the woman and her 3 children. She said that woman and her 3 children had died in a car accident. They said the moment she recognized her, the place was deserted. Everybody that said, I'll be eating amala here, we cannot find them.
He's called Akudaya.
So they now talk to an Ifa.
That's what it's called.
They spoke to an Ifa priest who said it's possible.
It's
This
called
in Yoruba
Akudaya.
culture. There are some people who have not lived
their house.
They have not lived their complete lives. They come back
They
into
continue
big
the life.
cities like Lagos and
Watch
Osogbo
too
and
many
Abeokuta.
Nollywood.
It's called Akudaya.
But see, the picture of the amala joint is here.
Yoruba tradition.
There's a picture and it's deserted.
See for it.
Miriam, these things.
We have to wrap up. Let me just take Vanguard very quickly. We have a story.
No,
point.
it's
Vanguard. Buhari reps heading for clash over 10-day extension. Osun governorship poll, I'll protect your mandate. The delegate tells protesters. Buhari's visit. Ganduje makes a U-turn, says Kanu ready to host president. Picture story here of the Vanguard Public Sector Icon of the Year award was given to Mohammed Bello Koko, MD, CEO of NPA and others. And petrol scarcity, NMDPR blames smugglers. Okay, which story?
very sad story about the 3 policemen that were shot in Ebonyi State. Okay.
Which is
Our
that
heart goes
story?
out to them.
Or is it the story?
Okay, Governor of
Our heart
Osun
goes out to
State
them.
is happy with his people. He says that he's happy that, the head of their protest across the state and how they are protesting the tribunal's conclusions, judgment on last week, and that he's happy, he's commending them. But the APC's acting chairman in Osun State says they also have heard of the sponsored protest that he is heading, and that they would advise that he, resorts to the courts, at the Court of Appeal at this time to, to fight anything that he thinks any rights that he thinks he has been abused. I completely agree that, the state should be at peace at this time. There should be no solidarity protests, fights anywhere happening. The courts are still there. Let's go to courts and fight legitimately for any rights. Let nobody die because of anybody's office.
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we focus quite a bit on Lagos State because Lagos is a city of excellence and many people across the country come to Lagos on a daily basis. So when Lagos State announced their 10-week diversion of traffic, it was important for us to have this conversation. They're going to be having this at the tail end of the toll gate to Bega section of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. According to the Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Frederick Oladende, he said that the traffic diversion will commence on Monday, that's today, January 30th, and end April 15th. So joining us for more clarity is a special advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Honorable, we're having actually a special advisor on transportation. That's going to be, we have Engineer Umar.
Federal Controller.
Federal Controller of Works.
Federal Controller of Works. Welcome to the show, sir. Sorry about that. I didn't get the right information on my prompter.
And good morning, Nigerians.
Yes. So it's good to have you, sir, and we just need a bit of clarity on the diversion we'll be seeing today. We're happy when we woke up this morning and realized that it hasn't been carried out, which is a good thing. But has it been moved? That's the first question I want to ask you. And when do you plan to start?
Thank you once again. The plan has not been shifted. It's going to go on like we said, like it was announced by the commissioner. We are set to start the diversion. Preparations are ongoing to begin the diversion. Some preliminary works will have to be done that will make the diversion not so difficult on the motorists. This diversion, I want to say, is just very necessary for us to be able to carry out the construction works. We know it's going to cause some traffic, but all the preparations we're having is to be able to alleviate the discomfort it's going to bring to motorists. So I want to assure you that we're starting it today.
Okay.
As I'm talking to you, all hands are on deck to begin the diversion.
Okay. What are the necessary things that have been put in place to make sure that this diversion doesn't cause too much of a hassle? Especially this area that we're talking about, we have schools, so even without diversions, I know how it is getting here during school hours. So what are the things that you're going to put in place specifically that will help?
Thank you very much. We have always been working hand in hand with Lagos State, relevant agencies in Lagos State. That's where you had the traffic advisory release from the commissioner. Last week, we had a meeting with Lagos State Ministry of Transport, and in attendance, we had Lagos State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure representatives and LASMA and a whole lot of other agencies. This is to present our traffic management plan, which we produced with our contractor, Julius Berger. So we presented it to Lagos State to have a discussion with them so that we can key into their own plans. And the things that we'll be putting in place to reduce, because we cannot totally eliminate it, the discomfort. One, we are going to shorten the length of diversion as against what we used to have before, so that the traffic will not be so much. We're going to look at the possibility of contract flow. For example, from Chinich 00, which is around the former toll gate, where we have the Julius Berger yard presently.
Right.
We're thinking of diverting traffic from the Ibadan-bound traffic. We're thinking of diverting part of it into the Lagos-bound section.
Okay.
And that will be done at the peak period.
Okay.
But this will not start immediately. We're also thinking of diverting traffic to CMD Road. CMD Road has a 2-lane going and coming. At peak period, we're going to have to stop the going and coming traffic and have a one-way traffic on CMD Road.
Let me explain to you, CM, because that's my area. So CMD Road has a school. There's one school there. Everybody's coming in and dropping off. On a regular day, there's traffic, and that's school. They have banks. There are about 4 banks there. And there's a Chicken Republic or something, an eatery there. So people are constantly going, and that road is already narrow. So it's a 1 lane in, 1 lane out. Yeah. How do you plan to bring in divert traffic into that CMD road? It's not good. It's going to be hell. Yeah,
that's what I said. During the diversion on CMD Road, which will be at peak periods, there won't be traffic on CMD Road coming towards the Way Bridge, coming towards your studio.
Yes.
All the traffic on CMD Road will be going towards Magodo during the peak period.
So those that want to come
in,
those
coming out will have to join the expo.
We'll divert traffic for people who want to go to the, let's say, to the other side. Like people going to Ojota will divert their traffic towards Otelola Bridge so that they'll go under the bridge. And those that can go through Ikosi, K2 area for that period.
Okay, just for clarity, so the old toll gate is, I'm using landmarks now, the motorways bus stop, the complex, or 7-Up.
It's a bit further.
Because most people would think, because the toll gate no longer exists, they don't understand what the landmark would be motorways.
No. Landmark would be FRS.
Okay, so I'm told we'll have somebody else who's going to be more specific on this. I'm not sure, so maybe because when I was to focus on
construction process.
Yeah.
So one of the concerns that we've always had with construction work is that, of course, we know we will bear the pain while we'll have the benefits later. It's that when I hear 10 weeks, I'm worried that would there be an extension? Is there any possibility of them saying something didn't align and we would have to make it longer than 10 weeks? In the worst case scenario, how long would this closure take place?
Thank you. There are two ways to it. And it's either we have it light and much longer, or we have it heavy and shorter. We are looking at the second option. We have it heavy and shorter. What do I mean by heavy? We're going to be working at different locations at the same time so that we'll have a shorter period to work. Now, apart from that, we're also looking at some other factors like the season. We're in the dry season now. If we do not do some very critical part of the construction in this dry season, it's going to drag the construction far longer. That is why we are planning to work simultaneously on 3 locations. Presently, we're working between Kara Bridge and Long Bridge, Ibadan bound. Today, we're starting from the beginning, the very beginning of the project, which is around the, how do I put it, the emergency clinic.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly at the emergency clinic, where you have a U-turn now towards Otedola
That
Bridge.
U-turn is blocked.
Yeah, we're going to block that U-turn and take it to where we have people coming from Lagos and turning into 7-Up. That's what we're going to
the first
be.
roundabout.
Yes.
So that means we'll bust out at TVC.
This TVC will no longer be a one-way.
No,
Yes.
when you're coming from this TVC now,
Right.
you have to go towards the Way Bridge. Then you now do your turn as if you're going to Ibadan.
Exactly.
Then you
Yes.
join.
But they're going to block that, so we can't do that anymore.
No,
So you bust
So
out
that's no
TVC
longer
now.
a one-way.
No.
You know, when you exit and turn left from TVC now to go and use that ramp into the express, it's a one-way.
Let me just make
hear
it clear. When you're coming from TVC now and you're going to Lagos,
To Lagos Island, yes.
yes, when you're going to towards Ojota, instead of coming to your left, you will go to your right.
Right, correct.
The section where people coming from Lagos going to Magodo exit the express to join CMD Road.
Right.
That is the area we are going to widen it,
Right.
where you are going to link the express.
Exactly. So that's what I said.
When you link the express, you face towards Ibadan.
Yeah.
Then you do your U-turn.
Do you get
First
it?
one.
So let me explain to you. When you're coming out of the series right now, you make it now. Instead of going right, you go left. That exit on enter CMD. They're going to widen that place. So you make left. You now bust onto the express. You make a quick U-turn to now go because they're going to block that side. So anyway,
It used to be a
let's go on a
one-way.
break
You
because
have boys there.
not everybody lives in this area. But it will affect those coming in from the traveling
Lagos.
out.
Everybody
in and out
leaving
of
Lagos is going to
It's
face
going to be
it.
affected. So we need better clarity. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we might bring in our next guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest with us. We're going to take a few comments on social media, but go ahead, Nima. I had a question.
So I wanted to understand, the working hours also. You said, in the shortest time is what the second alternative, which is heavier work in a shorter period, you complete the work. So would you also be working at night? Would there be lights and all of that to assist, to ensure that we don't exceed 10 weeks?
Thank you. Night work is an angle we've been discussing with the contractor, but I must be honest, it has not been concluded. A lot of people have been bringing issues on the night work angle. I just want to clear it a bit. If you recollect, the work on Apapa Woronshoki Ojota Road, the contractor, ITech, has been doing night work, but it's because of the scope, which is majorly resurfacing. In this case, we cut down into the road. If we do a diversion and we walk at night, we're not going to remove the diversion in the daytime. It's still going to be there. So the constriction will still be there and there will still be traffic.
Really
but in this case, it's not possible to walk only at night. But I will agree with you that it would be good to walk at night in addition to the work we do in daytime.
Okay, I just wanted to, we've talked about all the diversions, but the work itself, what will we be getting after 10 weeks?
After 10 weeks, God willing, when we will have completed the road from Ojota to Shagamu interchange, you will have 3 lanes on both sides of the carriageway of wearing course where you can travel without any encumbrance on the road from Lagos to Shagamu. And I can assure you as well, it will be the same from Shagamu to Ojo in Ibadan. That is the target for now.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you. We have already completed over 90% of this from Lagos to Shagamu interchange. What we have left is in the area of about 4 kilometers, give or take, on both sides. And this we want to be able to complete within these 10 weeks.
Okay, so the 10 weeks is the last lap of this Lagos, how many years of Lagos to Ibadan road?
The last lap of the first phase. Okay. We want to be able to drive from Lagos to Ibadan. Of course, there are other ancillary works, pedestrian bridges, flyover bridges, and all that. But those ones will not, during construction, disturb.
As such.
Yeah. So this is the hardest part of it.
Yes.
All right, we wish you all the best. Let's go on a break. We have to be speaking here with the Federal Controller of Works, Engineer Umar Bakari, explaining to us how the work is going to be going on. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll speak with the Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Honorable Shola Giwa, who will give us more insights into exactly how the diversions will be taking place. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So to discuss traffic diversions, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Honorable Shola Giwa, is here with us. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Before we even start talking about the closing of roads, CMD, Expressway, Ojuelegba that happened on Sunday. Nigerians are really, really worried about that because they thought that trucks are not supposed to be climbing that bridge anymore. Or even if they were supposed to be on one side. But Jabiame, the Honorable Speaker, was saying that there should be a barrier. We thought that by now, people would have known not for those containerized trucks not to be climbing those the bridge in the first place. What happened? What would you say happened?
Thank you very much. At first, I must commiserate with the family of those people that lost their lives in what is an avoidable accident.
Yeah.
And the government will not rest until we'll make sure that such things don't happen again. Really, on the issue of that truck barrier, it actually does not fall within the purview of the state government. Because the bridge, that particular bridge belongs to the federal government. I wish I had asked the Controller of Works about this. However, as a proactive government, we wrote to them, and then they've responded to us that it will be done. Because the thing is that by the time you ride from Lagos State, it goes to Abuja, it goes there, and then at the end of the day, it is in my budget, it's not in my budget. For example, that truck barrier is not what I provide for in my budget. But we know that as a centric government, we'll have to do something about it. So even while he was going, I discussed with him, and I can assure you that barrier will come up. It's an avoidable one, and then other ones we'll also look at to make sure that this doesn't happen. Really, for those trucks, they are meant to pass through Ikorodu Road and not go onto the bridge, over the bridge. However, they are also trying to avoid Ojuelegba, the bus there, the bus terminals there, and all that. And then, so if there's, for example, they were thinking, if there's a breakdown of those trucks on Ojuelegba intersection, you know what would happen to the entire day. However, I'd rather have that traffic there caused by a breakdown than the accident happening. Also, still talking about this particular accident, if you look at it, that bridge is a bit steep. However, as steep as that bridge is, if that container was well latched on that truck, it won't even be able to fall. So another thing is that, and I'm saying this for the record, the Nigerian Port Authority, they have what is called a minimum safety standard. That every truck that is on the road, that is coming to the port, that is coming to work in Lagos, will have to get that certificate. My question is, how is it done? Who certified it? Is it that they just give them the certificate and just look at it? Because Lagos State has a lot of centers where you can do roadworthiness. So we have written to them that we want to key into this. If you look at all those trucks on the road, do you think that those trucks are really worth it? No. So what they do is that they go to outside of the state to go and get their road certificates, worthy certificates. But what can we do? It's a federal thing. However, we are appealing to MPA to work with Lagos State so that we can be on the same page. We have spaces that they can use, all these trucks, we can check them so that people will not die again. And we don't want that to happen again.
I mean, you have answered even the question I was going to ask, because my own is, who do we hold responsible? And obviously,
so MPA is responsible for certifying those trucks.
Yes, those trucks that comes to the port. And then, really, 90% of those trucks are actually meant for the port or coming from the port. We've been working with them. We have a very good relationship with them. However, on this issue of minimum safety standard,
and the quality.
Yes, that is what we can do more.
Truck driver leave the port knowing that this container is not properly latched? Isn't there a system that tells the driver if for some reason they missed it? Isn't there like an automatic system that goes off in the truck that would say that this is not properly latched?
There's someone in each of the terminals that check. How they are checking is... So there's a system in place.
So let me understand that because it's a federal thing, right? You're not totally involved in that certification. So you are dependent on the federal system on that.
So we are asking for a collaboration
with them. So and they've not given you a collaboration just yet. But now, my question, just for what you just said, as you're entering Lagos, for example, that Shagamu area, there's this big space. Is it possible that you have a relationship with the Ogun State government where, as those trucks are entering, they divert them somewhere to make sure they're safe before they're entering our own area at all?
It's a lot even simpler than that. Okay. That is the truth. We don't have to go and put them on place. All those vehicles, they do their certifications. There's no single... That's what I'm trying to explain to you. There's no truck that will go to the port that has not been certified by MPA. It is that process. That
so we should hold MPA today now.
You understand? So it's that process that we are saying that how diligent is that process? And the Lagos State is asking, like they've been collaborating with us all this while on their ITO, and even the one we want to do for Lekki Port, they're collaborating with us. We want them to collaborate with Lagos State and VIO on this safety matter.
Fantastic.
Hope it's not a revenue drive.
No, it's not a revenue drive. So let me explain to you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a certificate that says your vehicle has passed the minimum safety standard. There are criteria that you have. So you look at that vehicle. You can do your investigative journalism on this. Go outside and check, at least randomly. Do you see any one of those trucks that you can say this one actually?
No, hardly.
So I'm saying you want this collaboration with MPA. Are you going to deploy your men from the VIS that do our own car roadworthiness to that place so that they also do the same on the trucks? Or they'll just be gumming the stickers that has been done?
We need to understand that process.
You know, it's the process.
What is the minimum requirement even?
So it's the process. The process is we check everything. We even have... We can even go to their yards. We have a mobile,
Exactly.
yes, we have a
Their
mobile
yards.
plant that we can use to check, and it doesn't
Yeah,
take...
but you can go to their yards in Lagos, but those coming outside from outside
They are
Lagos,
all
you don't
coming
have
into
control.
Lagos.
So they are
Also,
coming to
they are-
carry loads.
They're coming to Lagos. So there's something that we can work out. They even have brigades. They have parks already. There's Abbott parks. There's Lily Pond, that we can be taking them one by one.
So
That's
that
what...
they're not certified. They can't come on the road.
They cannot come on the road.
So,
because if you don't have that sticker, the way it works is that you cannot even do it too.
Sticker conimo.
So no, I'm just
Hold
saying,
a
what I'm
truck
saying
that is not
this.
roadworthy.
So they have a
don't even give
system
sticker.
that is in place that if you don't have that sticker, you will not be able to book to go to the port.
Okay, so
So
when
we just want to key into that
Yeah.
part.
Right.
I get that, and I feel like it's a very good way. They already have a system. It's just about making it more efficient so that it increases the safety of Lagosians on the road, which is a good move. But this particular tipper trailer that fell off, that the container fell off, it didn't fall off because Lima and I were analyzing the videos.
Yes.
That
It detached from
the tires also. So it wasn't like about latching.
The whole
Yes, I know.
Actually tipped. So it was, even if they latched it well, which in some cases this might have been latched well, but the weight and the quality of the joining of the container part to the main truck head might be the weakness. And in such cases, it might not be, what based on the preliminary investigation, what could have been done to prevent such from happening?
Okay, so that's exactly where I wanted to go to the preliminary investigation. So far, so good. By the grace of God, in the next 2 hours, we'll get a report. So I don't want to preempt the outcome of that preliminary investigation. Our men and the police, they're already investigating, and we'll get the report. However, I can tell you for a fact that most of these drivers, I will say this again, that you see in Lagos, they are not the main drivers that are coming from up north.
Okay.
So they drop at Ogiri or somewhere. They don't even want to drive into Lagos. They are usually the motorboys.
Sometimes you look...
Usually the
young boys.
motorboys. So the
What's
main
the
driver
difference?
would have driven all the way. They say they don't want to
Tired.
come to Lagos. The last man, Wala, VIO, Wala is too much.
Okay.
So they stay back and then send their not certified driver
Drivers.
to come to Lagos. Yes, that is also one of the findings that we... So these are the things that we said we're going to sit down with MPA to look into. Each vehicle is attached to a driver.
And that driver should be responsible whether anything happens. I have another question, please. Lagos has adopted a system that I'm not a fan of. Korokwe is on express, Korokwe is everywhere. And if you see the way that vehicle crushed, it is Korokwe that can crush like that. We've seen containers fall on Danfo because of the structure that the Danfos have. Even with the weight, there are higher survival rates. Some vehicles shouldn't be flying highway. I feel that the Korokwe should not be on a major way. Korokwe should be last mile. That's the language that Lagos State uses. So why are we having Korokwe on the top of a bridge in...
They're at the tail end of the bridge, actually.
They should be within inside road.
She's very correct. And the truth must be said. The Korokwe is just as good as our first and last mile buses, which are meant to go into the inner streets and bring people out. But what they've been doing is they've been plying the roads just like a normal Danfo. A normal Danfo will take about 14 passengers. The Korokwe is actually meant for about 8 passengers. So we're expecting that the Korokwe will be the one to replace the Marwa Keke Napep. Because if you look at the numbers, you know why you're seeing more Korokwe's? Because it's cheaper than Keke Napep. There's no second hand of Keke Napep. So it's the Tokumba of Korokwe that you are saying. So Keke Napep will take 3 people. Korokwe will take 7 to 8 people. So everybody is shifting to Korokwe. But really, the Korokwe should be yes, they shouldn't be plying our major roads. And I think I've said it on this program that those buses, what Lagos State is doing, Lagos State is looking forward, and the plan is mass movements, mass transit. So it is not about, that's why we said we will not use, I'm coming please, that's why we said we do not accept bike as a form of public transportation. Even those Korokwe will have to go inside, and will enforce that.
Let's talk another serious issue. Just at the point of that accident is a where all the buses stop to pick up passengers. I drive on that bridge every morning. And I don't know why it is allowed. Also, why is there no proper traffic management under the bridge inwards Yaba? Because if there was lay-by, if there were lay-bys and enforcement of no parking, you won't have traffic there. People can also pass there. But even us driving in the morning, I don't want to find my way under that bridge.
Have you seen
by any
Ojuelegba?
chance? I grew up, I was born there. I went to school in Clegg.
Thank you very much. So Ojuelegba is a major transport hub from time immemorial. However, if you look at it, the place is built up, and there's really no bus stops.
No park.
There.
So there's
No park.
They should-
So what has been happening all along is that we created lanes on the sides for these buses. You know, it used to be worse than this.
Yes.
Now, it's getting better. The traffic light there is working. Everyone, yes, is obeying it. However, why would I, as a passenger, go and stay on the bridge when the bus stop is there? I say, if there's no market, as a people, if there's no market, there will be no obstruction. So if you go to the bus stop and stay at the bus stop, if you look at Lekki Ajah Expressway, you see that people are always staying at junctions. The bus stop will be about, say, 50 meters forward, but they will stay at that junction.
And the buses are
And the
parking
buses
at
will go
different...
You understand it now? I say he wants to pick, because if the bus go to the bus station, people are not at the bus station, who is he going to pick? So for as citizens, we also have to be patriotic. However, for me, the law does not permit me to arrest people. However, the law gives me the power to arrest the vehicle.
The barracks is not too
You
far from
understand?
that.
However, we need to work. Oh, that place, that's another one.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Honorable Shalakiba with us. There was a question for you.
Yes, we're arguing about, the markets around, because those trading around Ojuelegba was in the traffic. In fact, they're the major cause of the traffic. They thrive on, pedestrians buying also. Can there be enforcement also of taking off those markets, those traders along the road? Reason is because if an accident were to happen, for instance, if it was in the days when trucks tipped from the bridge, there were also accidents waiting to happen, deaths waiting to happen.
I'd like to ask, further answer that question, because one of the things that makes Lagos dynamic is that these kind of people can make sales. That's what makes it Lagos. Anywhere you are, just set up something and somebody will buy. And that's a part of the economy of Lagos. So how do we find our middle ground where these kind of people can still have some kind of somewhere to sell their wares, but not blocking traffic or not blocking the bus stops?
There's something that is called tough love. Yeah, we like them. They are our people, but we have to protect them. So whether they like it or not, whether they want it or not, we'll have to remove them from arm's way. It might not go down well with them that we say, leave the road, don't sell on the road. And that is tough love. How do I mean? Go to Ojuelegba. Even before Ojuelegba, if you go down to Yaba, there are a lot of places you can sell. The local government have markets there. What is happening is that anywhere there is a park, people want to sell there. Ojuelegba is actually not a park or a garage. It's a makeshift garage or a makeshift. It's meant to be just a bus stop. You understand what I'm saying now? So whether they like it or not, for their safety, we'll have to move them away from the road. That's the truth of the matter. And then also, that Korokwe ought not to be on that bridge in the first place. So we don't want to start shifting blame.
Every morning,
It's
while
not
the Korokwe
easy.
is there, the last man official is behind it.
And then look at who is
And there are
behind the
people
last
on-
officer. You will see the
So
military
we're all
officer behind
complicit.
them.
Last
So the
man
last
is there.
Everybody.
And the military officers are
military
behind
officers
them. They are
are
the
there.
owners.
Yes.
So
The
where-
sponsors.
So can you know how?
Please, let's go to...
I get really scared
Yes.
when I drive on Alausa because I know your cameras are working. And I tell my driver, listen, these cameras, they work. I mean, so whatever you're doing, don't run that light. We're not in a hurry. Anywhere else, you can still try to do jacket. But this Alausa area, don't run the light. The same fear I have give Nigerians that fear in all areas. Put your cameras around. Let people feel.
Thank you very much. You see, I just want to let you, anyway, it's out of the bag now. The cat is out of the bag. We are deploying these cameras all over, not just for light traffic offense, for even all offenses. In fact, we're coming up with something that's called whistleblower. As a citizen, ordinary citizen, you will take video of any other person committing any traffic offense, upload it to that website, to the app. We're going to bring the app up very soon. And then you too, you say, Mr. Sholagiwa, you drove against traffic. This is there. You now upload it, we verify it, and that person gets a fine. And then even the citizen gets a commission of the fine. So these are the things we are working on.
Happy to play that because I have been saying this for many years.
It's on the table. It's on the table. It's coming up. And very soon we're going to launch it.
Please add throwing things off trash. Because I always see
that one.
Especially down for drivers. I'm always recording them. See,
Tomorrow you have reached where we are going. You know all the traffic rules.
Even that,
all the traffic rules.
Even that
don't catch
is
down for
also
drivers.
inside the road traffic law.
You cannot make rules for car owners and treat downfall drivers with special aids. These rules, they are the major culprits.
But can I say something? There's something I need to take out for your head. Seriously. You know, anytime you are driving your private car. So while driving, it is us versus them. So you hardly see someone like you committing offense. You see the downfall because that downfall, as you see, these people again. And that downfall, you know what they call you, my car. Look at this, my car. Look at the way he's driving. So it's us versus them. But for us, we see all of you the same. If I put up my data for you, I can tell you that we have more private citizens committing offenses, traffic offenses, than the downfalls.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
We see them.
It might seem
they stop everywhere.
It might seem, and then another trend they are seeing now, almost every private vehicle now is a commercial vehicle, quote and unquote.
No, that's
another place.
Because economy is.
No.
But
so,
Honorable,
however,
I have seen one ways. What I cannot believe is one way from Maryland to Ojota. Who are the culprits? Downfall drivers. They were not going in one, no. They were going in convoys. And the last one official at Ojota watched them enter Oregon Road. So what exactly is happening?
So that's another thing.
He has family in his house.
Yes,
there's a video of a last man officer trying to stop. We've told them, don't try to stop them.
Exactly.
These cameras are coming. Even their own phone, all of them have smartphones. Just get a picture. And I can tell you, so I use this opportunity to tell you, we'll start making home arrests now. We have set up a committee for that. If you commit an offense, we'll come to your house while you are sleeping, and then we'll be doing name and shame.
I've given a testimony.
Name and shame
somebody
once
told
in
me
a week
that
in the national newspaper.
Somebody was telling me that he was going to Owambe, he was rushing. He jumped at Lausa light. As he was entering his Owambe and sitting down, he got a text message that he has a fine.
You always get that.
I was shocked. I mean, that happened to me.
So you get for roadworthiness.
Yes, you get for vehicle license.
Moving forward, you get for every other offense that you commit.
We have to let you
We're just
go.
asking Lagosians to please obey traffic law.
We have the CBM Palaba.
Yes.
So the tribe.
No, the diversion, I've given it to you. So let me talk about the diversion. The diversion is very simple. If I start explaining to you, turn like this, we have looked at the diversion. There is construction. You will have to know that you have to slow down.
Okay.
Personnel will be placed at every intersection, and there will also be traffic signs. Just follow the flow.
Yeah.
That's the best way. Follow the flow. So what we've done is that we know that we have to close some intersections. Okay. So just as you are going to Ibadan, follow the flow. If you are going to Magodo, go with the flow. You will see you cannot miss the flow. So if I start explaining to our people that when you get to 7 Up, you can block it. The flow is there. There will be traffic signs. There will be traffic personnel. If you are coming to Lagos, just know that there's traffic, and that's it. Just know for a fact.
I was asking you, the guests that we led before that,
Yes.
do they know CMD like we know, for example? Because, you know, there's a school there.
We did it.
On a regular
They didn't do it. No, let me explain.
I'm not going to say that. I'm asking you now. Because that school is a major issue. Because dropping off kids in the school in the morning and pick up that school. Then there's the retreat, and there are 4 banks on that road. So you know, you're diverting people into that same road that we'll be managing.
So as that
will we
road
manage?
is being diverted, traffic is being diverted to that road to complement the other diversion. He was saying something, he said doing pick up where people will be moving more.
Yeah.
Then that place should also be used to complement the diversion on the road. It's not as if everything is being diverted to that place.
Okay.
That's
so
what
there's still diversion on the express.
On the express.
And some will come
yours
here.
so there won't be too much backlog up to Lagos. That's what we're
So it's starting today.
However, it's starting today, but we're just appealing that you know that you're coming, you're going to work, you normally leave your house at 6 o'clock for a 9 o'clock appointment. Know that just hard. Because when we're driving ordinarily, you do like 100 kilometers per hour. And then you know that during traffic is about 30 kilometers, during construction.
Honorable.
Work is easy. The children are going to
You
school.
cannot make homely
Lagos
without
children are in trouble.
breaking eggs.
No, we understand.
We'll enjoy it at the end
We
of the day.
understand. I'll tell you the same
Our
thing.
children.
April 15, nobody year. You must not hear. As in,
Well,
you
who
must
will
not
manage the traffic?
April 15.
Federal Minister of Works is the one doing the construction. We are managing the traffic.
then
Because
passing
we
work.
want Lagos State. No, we want the citizens of
He
Lagos
has
State
got that
to
one.
have that. No, but
That's
it's not our project. It's the federal government. But because it is in Lagos and then we are a proactive government, we know that everyone in Lagos must have an ease,
So we'll
ease of
talk
life.
to
So that's why we are putting this
Ministry of
effort
Works,
into
that
it.
it's
To help
15th of
us.
February. Let's give you comments. We have to run.
Festus Akiboyewa says, this is not the first time containers will fall and kill innocent people in Lagos, but we never learned lessons from these tragedies. It is a national disgrace. Containers should only be allowed to move around in the night and not during the day. Andrew in Streatham says there should be weighing machines at the ports to say if a truck or trailer is too heavy or unstable. I studied stability of objects in physics in secondary school in Nigeria. Why are these things not applied in everyday life, at least at the Apapa ports?
I have from Helen Essien said that, Mariah, you seem to be forgetting that truck owners, the government must begin to prosecute culpable truck owners. Just one scapegoat and other truck owners will sit up. So that's also a valid point. The truck owners is one, and then NPA should also tell us how they're doing their processing for these safety certificates and standards. What do you do? How do you do it? It's important that we know, especially because most of the trucks are coming to Lagos. So if you don't want to partner with anybody, you must partner with Lagos because that's where the ports are coming, the trucks are coming to. So you need transparency on that. And the truck owners too, somebody must prosecute. So this owner of this truck, in your investigation, I hope we can find out who the owner is.
Oh, definitely.
Let us name and shame them. Mr. John, whatever,
Well,
is the owner of this truck.
We don't have a law to prosecute the owners. They tend to
Yes, somebody told us
drivers.
that.
Yes, they told us.
Like
Only
the drivers that were coupled, not the owners.
Yes,
Yes.
the driver that's coupled.
That's why
It's
we
really
need
sad.
And
National
that's where the
Assembly.
name and shame is coming to.
Yeah, we can name and shame, but you cannot prosecute. But
What
another
happens to
challenge,
the families?
genuinely, a lot
Families of
this-
those who have
Yeah,
lost
a lot of the
victims.
trucks get dilapidated because of bad roads as well. Dilapidated because the roads are really, really bad.
My question is this. Are they bringing in the right type of trucks in the first place?
Okay.
You go and buy a truck that are used in America or in Europe for the past
30
25 years.
Yes. Now
And you
bring
bring it here to say you are starting transportation business. That's what is happening. And you're
Yeah.
not saying the roads
We
are
the
bad.
people.
It's we the people.
I am truck driver. I am a businessman. You can't bring the
You
worst
are a businessman,
business.
you go and buy 10 trucks, you don't even have it packed. Where are you going to put them?
Well, we bring
You
in
wanna put them on
customs,
the
sees
road.
it, customs let it go into our state now,
So
and our
there's
country.
the-
Well,
All of us.
coincidentally, well, it's good
Let me take
because
this
the
call.
government is putting everything in
We
place.
need
for
to
Lagos.
discuss
Everyone wants to come to Lagos. State.
CBN
I would-
Palava, but it looks like our guest is not available, so we might have to extend this conversation. Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning, everybody.
You're live. Go ahead, please. I think it's Mr. Hassan.
Good morning, Ola and the members of the panel. Look, if you don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. Let us bear it at the back of our mind. Mr. Chala, you mentioned one thing. That most of the drivers get the work to their motorboy from a passport or get it to drive them to Lagos. Do you know why most of these things are happening? It's because of the corruption tendency of the national officials. The fear of national by the terror from other neighbors, from Kwara, Ibadan, up to the north, Delta North, is the beginning of this law. Don't get to see.
It's not very clear. Hassan, your phone is muffled. I can hardly hear you. But I think he's talking about LASMA.
Yes.
And
he said
LASMA
if
is
we don't
corrupt.
kill corruption will kill Nigerians. Our practices are our ways, cutting corners, not
So,
enforcing fully.
I totally agree. But you see, LASMA again, we've seen several LASMA officials killed in the line of duty.
Yes.
They're not armed.
Yes.
You don't have much protection. So we can't put those guys' lives on the line. What we need to do is get MPA to standardize this processing so that we'll coming into into Lagos, we know that they are the trucks are safety, they are already
Minimum
compliant.
safety
Number one.
yes.
Number two, we need federal government to put the barriers on the Ojo-Elegba bridge, so those trucks don't get onto the bridge, because obviously they shouldn't be there in the first place.
And then we'll go and clear
So the last man's work will be easier to do when you don't clear the trucks.
Because the holding bays at Amo, for instance, can be places where the trucks will not leave. Not that they will get sticker. They will not be able to leave holding bays without standard check and without conforming to the quality or standard that we want. So you can't carry if you are not.
Let's take a few more comments on social media and we wrap up. Olabi, good morning, sir. Are you there? From Ojo-Elegba, I believe. Olabi, you're live.
Good morning, Mariah.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
I think the fault is coming from the truck driver, the NTA. Sometimes they don't know the content inside this container. Because my father deals with trucks. We don't do liquid. Because liquid, immediately you mark the brake, it will still absorb some force on the vehicle. So we don't do liquid at all. They just go to the NTA, they load them to the car. Some they are taking it to Ibadan. Some but they don't know the of driving. And secondly, the content inside, let them know the content. If it is the light load.
We're having trouble with our lines. I didn't hear. Did you hear him? It was really difficult to hear what he was saying.
The content of those containers can also be a determinant. That his father dealt with trucks, and sometimes some trucks are just carrying lightweight. Talking about the measure.
It's only Nima that has it yet.
But Bilikis is also saying something in that line. She says that tell the federal government to use weigh-in machines. That's the ideal thing to do. I need that she develop phobia driving side-by-side containers, vehicles. Like
sometimes.
So
we have to wrap up on this.
There are way bridge in the terminals.
Yeah.
There are way bridge. I can tell you that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shalagiwa, for joining us. And we have to wrap up on this, but we hope that we don't have to bring you back for this same issue. We don't hope. We hope it doesn't have to happen again.
When we come, we are going to talk about deploying cameras and then
across Lagos State. And there was a time that I think was it Jumoke that went to one place where you could see everything.
We still have it, yeah.
We still have the command center.
Command center.
We still have it still running.
We
still have it still
running. And you are seeing people.
Oh, we're seeing things.
Okay, all right. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we have to touch on this CBN matter, the extension, the Naira, the drama that's happening at ATM banks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. A few days ago, the Senate asked the CBN, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, to extend deadline for the exchange of old Naira notes from 31st of January to May 31st. However, the CBN governor extended it to February 10th, 2023. The Senate has also urged the CBN to open an exchange window where people that don't have bank accounts to deposit their old notes and in exchange for the new ones. We'll be having a bit later Senator Alim Dume, who will be joining the conversation. We're trying to reach him for a while. But before then, you can call in to share your experience over the weekend. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I know First Bank opened their doors Saturday and Sunday between 10 a.m. and 2. I don't know. You did all the banks or GTB? Yes. Okay, because a few banks. I didn't know about GTB. I wish I had known. But a few banks opened up, GT Bank, First Bank, maybe others, opened Saturday and Sunday so that people can bring it in. That was really, really generous of you to do so. But thank God we have an extension. But is it enough? Is it sufficient? Because people are still saying that they need time for their businesses to adjust. I was trying to buy plantain chips, as I always do, on traffic, and I gave the person 1,000 Naira, hoping to get change. And he was telling me he doesn't accept the old notes. And I'm thinking, So he also is having a challenge because he doesn't want to collect. So I couldn't buy because I had the old notes with me. At the time, he hadn't gotten the information, he had an extension. But ordinary plantain, so would I now be doing transfer for plantain chips in traffic? For the woman I sent
in bulk and keeping under your
So we need to see all the various layers this would affect.
They need to
And
see
you know,
it.
that was what one of our tweets said last week, which is, we have always said that the Nigerian economy is majorly driven by the informal economy. And we have, we are constantly in every day doing those daily transactions. I myself, 2 occasions during the weekend, the, ShopRite parking lot, you have to pay. And they didn't have change to give me, or they didn't have the same currency type that I have. And I thought, how weird is it in Nigeria that you have 2 currency types and you can't exchange one for the other? Do you understand? That even they are worried about collecting your old notes because they don't know what will happen if they can get enough money. You go to the market and you want to buy something. So yes, it is a good policy. It addresses a lot of the things in the formal sector, but it has refused to address the situations in the informal sector. And that is what we're asking. I believe that they have to extend this longer than the 10th February that they've given us, so that it makes for an easy transition. That's all people are asking. No one is saying we don't like this policy, but make it easier on Nigerians. Why do we have to suffer to get better? Because that's what I've been hearing. Oh, we need to suffer so that it gets better. Sometimes with proper planning, you don't need to suffer. It just easily works.
So I think Nigerians also panicked. So the deadline was Tuesday. But by Thursday, Nigerians were not collecting
yes,
money
now,
again.
even banks. I mean,
when you want to deposit it, and we didn't even know. It was until I made calls on Saturday I found out, even on Sunday 9 a.m., banks were already open to collecting the cash. But Nigerians were already panicking. I had to be telling someone, that, don't worry, collect it. There was a woman around my side who was calling me that what will happen. I said, collect the money. On Monday morning, first thing, you can go and deposit. She was shocked. She said, hey, I can see the deposit. I said, yes. So do your transactions this weekend. Do what you can on Monday to deposit. That's the size, the point. But there's also unresolved transactions. I personally paid a senior colleague money that the transaction did not drop. So he got a debit alert. He has not received, we didn't get a credit alert. And he wanted to become an issue. Since I know the person, I was like, okay, just pay him. Till today, since Friday, we've not seen him. We don't know the status of that transaction. As a payment point of sale business that I do, if I don't pay like that, you will see chaos, fight happening. So what you want is prompt alerts verifying whether monies have dropped instead of fraudulent one or unresolved one that the banks will now sleep on top as if, no, don't worry, it's going to be okay. How will this work? Yeah. You know, I gave the example of a cow seller arrangement. How will it work if I need my 400,000 naira on my 1 cow? Yeah. And you have sent me alerts that they are telling me 6 months' time they are still trying to resolve it.
So Tokwe said something during the banter that they should flood the market with the 100 naira notes and 50 naira notes.
Yeah, I mean, the old notes, we don't have those.
Yeah. So flood the market. We don't have that. Put that out there. Let people have access to that. So we can be spending. I would have used that one to buy plantain chips instead of the 1,000 naira.
Right, even before the new notes swap and all of this happening, how easy was it to get new notes of 100 naira notes?
They were not printing
it. No, we're not getting it.
We're not printing it.
So
we were recycling the old one that was always torn and bad. People say they reject 100 naira note. You see, say that they print them. People will ask you if you say this one is bad, they won't take it.
Lots of that.
So it's only at the parties you find it.
It's about the proactive, how proactive this government has been. Of course, we have already called out the CBN Governor Emefiele several times that it was not on ground, and obviously the system on ground did not think through the impact of this on the economy. So, of course, Nigeria's economy is largely informal. You have almost 60% of Nigerians earning below, well, majority of Nigeria
outside
is
the banking system, yeah.
They're out of the banking system. They are earning very little money. Some don't even interface with the bank at all. So when you're dealing with such a people, your economics cannot be, your economic decisions cannot be done based on your own exposure without considering them. Many people in Lagos, the person hawking on the street, the small side shop, don't want to interface with the bank and genuinely cannot afford to interface with the bank. And until we have more poverty-friendly, I don't want to use the word poverty-friendly, until we have more small business-friendly banks, banks that don't, like we have a few banks, I don't want to mention marketing for them, but there are banks that, you still pay charges in microfinance bank, but there are some banks that waive all charges. They are doing that for students and all of that. Those kind of banks make it easy for people to know that I can drop my 1,000 naira and tomorrow I will withdraw 1,000. Not that by tomorrow you will say there was one monthly charge, another monthly charge. After 3 months, your 1,000 has become 900 and something. So we need to also consider those factors.
Do you see his countenance when he was talking, Emefiele? It was like...
I know send you.
Yeah.
And another big challenge is we all know that the elephant in the room is this policy is targeted at the elections, and they are trying to ensure that whatever happens, the policy must take effect before the elections. So whether you cry blue, this extension that has been done is just so that it won't seem like we're not listening to you. But the point is, by elections, you will not see the new Naira notes, and the old Naira notes you have kept in the pocket will not be valid by that time. I hear them because really I don't want them I don't want people that can afford to buy elections to sway the vote during election time.
But at what cost?
Exactly. At what cost to the people at what cost to the people on the streets? Because right now I've been cashless for the past 4 days. I'm so scared to touch money. I cannot go to and I know what and I see when I get to the bank, I see the queue, I go back. So what exactly am I supposed to do? I can't. I'm sure my children went to buy water yesterday. In the church, I was begging somebody to buy me a bottle of water for my children because I didn't have any cash with me. I've been transferring 100 naira with 26 naira.
I was so upset yesterday. My 1,000 I've been keeping to use during the week. My children gave it to the driver to go to the airport. When I came down, I went, where is my 1,000 naira? Now I'm cashless.
I've been cashless for 4 days. I've just been looking at myself.
Some of these things, they're just beyond not practical. So someone was suggesting on radio this morning that, I even bought plantain with transfer. I didn't know with transfer.
And you pay 10 naira on every 100 naira.
37 naira was charged on 5,000 withdrawal on my card because I want to collect new naira note yesterday.
Wow.
If the banks continue to put those charges and multiply it at the end of the day,
what's the difference between January 31st and February 10th? Because we're still going to have this conversation.
2 weeks.
In 10 days. So in 10 days, what's going to happen?
We are going to have the conversations because the people we are talking to, they get something in their ears. The truth is, you are enriching some quarters. Obviously. And the CBN governor knows that he's doing this for his friends also. In the banks, they're going to be making crazy money. There's 300 and some thousand electronic transfers. There are total, so many charges. You need to purify that side first before you force us to be at their mercy.
One thing I've noticed with our government, past and present, is that when Nigerians are complaining about something, they always believe that there's an agenda.
Yes, the opposition.
That there's someone that has come that's using people's voices, to push an agenda. They may be right, maybe in some quarters, but regular Nigerians are also going through issues. I expect that the government is able to sift through the different voices and understand that Nigerians are going through a problem and they're asking for you to respond to what they're going through. If you just use a paint of this an agenda, you're trying to scuttle my government, you're trying to embarrass my government, you will not listen, you will not get to the issues. And that's why people are always disgruntled. They do not trust the government. It does not, you see that attitude that you're saying, it does not take for him to even be a little bit sympathetic, empathetic. Yes. I understand that you people are going, it was almost, take it or leave it. Yes. I understand what the hardship that you're going through, but this is something we have to do. It helps us.
The only person I have is the president. And I say, the president I have agreed February 10th. And I'm thinking, who are you? Let me take this call from Shegun. Mr. Shegun, are you there?
Please.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Let me just go straight forward. These people did not care about us at all. As a leader, you need to listen to the people. There are some places in Lagos because I know a place at Alakwere. You need to cross the water before you get to that part. It's called Agboyi. There are some old women over there that they still have the old nose. That there's no, even POS does not even have new nose. They need to listen to the people. You can't just be doing something with your own will. You people are right. God help us in this country.
No, that's how we conclude every complaint. God help us. They were fighting with ATM. What was that about? Did you guys see a video about ATM fighting? What exactly happened?
Somebody used to collect all the money.
It's not like that. So maybe ATM transactions, withdrawals were limited. Queue don't dig grand. And you know that people were fearing that the deadline will be this morning. So let me struggle and collect as they open ATM on Sunday now. There was queue. Of course, Nigerians will start to fight. They can't be patient. Maybe one person was withdrawing, and so far it's
with different cards.
Did you see those people
So
holding on?
people go with like, if you have 4
helping
ATM
other
cards,
people.
no, you can go with like 4 ATM cards because you have 4 different accounts and there's a limit on 1 ATM card.
Yeah.
You withdraw with this one, they look at you.
That's
If
the
another card,
Goshen in
you
us.
witdraw again.
We the people,
you get another card.
not
No,
being
but it's not
considerate
good people.
of others.
What's there? I cannot be
You're
waiting.
not being considerate of others.
Yes, that's why you think
we-
you could go with as many cards
Yes,
and
because
just
if
keep
you
That's
care,
the
if
problem.
you care that we have
Okay.
limited funds and other Nigerians also need, you take
I
money
do
yourself.
a
It's true.
business
It's the right thing to
that
do.
pays cash to people, and nobody want to collect new Naira note. Shall I go close shop?
I mean, old Naira.
Old Naira note. Shall I will lock it? I will lock it. And it's not like I will be broke. Emefiele will now be out of the people of this world that will pity for me and say, just go
Let
and
me
give me my
support.
support. Show possible. I will help myself. I will carry out the ATM with my family. In fact, cure my children.
That's the problem.
That's the
But
problem.
that's the-
But that's the
but the
Nigerian
business-
problem.
But that's the
We are
reality
not
that we
thinking
are
of the
forcing
next
our
door.
people to look
We are
at.
not thinking of the next. I
Murayo.
wouldn't go to the ATM with all
And
the
these
I
are
would
policy you
I'll
do
take
not
out
need to
20,000
open your business.
just for myself.
Did you
It's
see
not 20K,
videos
it's
from
5K
Niger
new
State
notes.
where POS collected new notes gladly from somebody only to go and they soak it was paper
Eh?
and it was tearing. And somebody said I will forward it. Somebody sent it to me. I was watching it yesterday.
We
From
the
Niger-
people
they are helpless.
also creating fake out there.
No, Murayo.
Yes, now.
You as the CBN governor sit over all of this.
Listen.
You can have a wider view of all of this and say they will do this. This will be possible. This will and knit it up at once before you issue a
You're not the
deadline.
Holy Spirit
that
now.
They see they
There's
change notes for
brainstorming
them.
session.
There's a
There's
system.
They see they change
There are people that have been
notes.
put at
You
different
cannot
levels.
say all of you elites sitting at the board of the CBN will be the one deciding how Iyadagbaja will sell tomatoes in the K2 market by 12.
Yeah.
You must carry somebody that has Iyadagbaja's view into this view so that we don't shut down our businesses, our
Shut down the
SMEs.
economy.
You are shopping at ShopRite with your ATM card. The person that is selling tomatoes does not know MOY, he put it in Akpowo, and you say that person's business does not concern you.
Nima, my own is
It
that
doesn't
you
stop
see,
saying that.
even the vegetable seller knows because I went to go and buy vegetables
You
on
buy
Saturday.
Ugu 200 naira.
I went to go and buy.
don't
collect
Yes, now.
transfer.
And he told me that he's collecting everything. That today is his last day that he's collecting old notes. That he's going to the bank from here. So everybody knows that Yakiniko that he's putting in his she
They
knows
know.
Wait.
that there's new
They
notes.
want-
Everybody
wait.
knows.
Pause. Just
Everybody
one
knows.
point that he did not see. He's going to the bank to deposit
Yeah.
You will not
all
take
the money
back.
collected. But there's a limit to how much you can withdraw.
collect.
Tomorrow's sale will be shorter. Do you know that I bought Ugu on Saturday and I brought it to 200 naira Ugu and I kept shaking it. Like, I shake it.
So next one,
Shake
200
it.
naira Igbo.
Hey.
It's 3 for 500.
You even see 3 for 500. Do you know that I used to buy from the farm 200 and I won't be able to consume what I bought?
That
Now
was
it's
back in the day.
go
now.
to the farm. Even the farm now, they'll give you, be shaking it like broom all your way on the way home. So now maybe your Ugu worth that you do per day is 100,000. And they say you can only take 20,000. You start to sell Ugu of 20,000 and you still be projecting your daily profit. You start to cut corners and reduce
That's the reality.
Yes.
We should think this thing through. Governor, CBN, help.
So we
Help.
we
Not
made-
all of us are corporates.
Yeah, it's a challenge that we highlighted last week, and it's sad that. But the good news is, at least he listened to give us
He didn't listen.
No.
a 10-day
That wasn't- he was
extension.
pressured.
It's president that even called
He
us
wasn't
to
listening.
give
He
Yeah.
us.
was pressured to a 10-day extension because they shared a good news, and their good news was that they've been able to achieve a 75% mopping up of the
And you
excess
will achieve
liquidity.
1.9 trillion.
Yes, and the reason, and we must remind ourselves that the reason they needed to mop up that money was because some of these monies were being used by kidnappers, they were being used by corrupt politicians to might be funding the elections, and that's why they are collecting the money. But we want our CBN governor to talk to us like someone who is a public servant. And because the truth is, the CBN governor is a public servant. Yes, it might be, I've always been in the private sector, but when you become a CBN governor, you are answerable to the people, not with the way he spoke to us. This is not a political campaign. The social media people that are complaining are not sponsored. We are not sponsored by any political, it's not a political move. It is the reality of
And the
our
voices
life.
come from all sides.
Yes.
Somebody should please
Different,
advise. Let me give you my own advice as a regular citizen. Between February 1st and the 10th of February, that you are giving us an extension, every day we let there be a press briefing from your office where you are coming to us, telling us how many of your guys are out there, how much you've given to the banks, how much have been collected, how much have been received, how many notes you have, how much have been reprinted. And, give us a daily update. Are you putting our Naira notes out there? Are you putting our every single day from February 1 to 10? Let us hear from you because we feel that nobody's listening to us.
Exactly.
So that's what an attentive government does. It's a major change. It's a major shift.
It's a culture.
So
with the shortest time.
The shortest time. Every single day from your office,
they're giving you 100 days now. They've added 10 more days.
No, in policy, back policy. Policy, limiting withdrawal and everything.
End of the show.
That's the end of the show.
The show is over.
Time have already gone like that.
Before we are Emefiele, let's see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
I didn't even look at time.